Hello everyone, this is Lomi, and in this video I'll show you how to make a doll-sized Kurta like the one I created for Arios, my SID Omar. A printable PDF copy of the pattern is available on my website and is free for personal use. Once you download it, you'll need to cut out your pieces as directed. I'm using gray cotton fabric, but you can use anything you like. You'll also need an iron, so be sure to have it ready. Once your fabric pieces are ready, start with the placket pieces. Fold the sides in 1/4 of an inch and press them down. Then fold the placket in half and press it again. This creates guidelines to follow when sewing the placket. Take the front piece and find the center of the neckline. Decide how long you want your opening to be, then use a ruler and pencil to mark the length. Fold your placket pieces open and pin them to either side, with the edge of the pieces along the line. Now we're ready to start sewing. Sew along the fold you created until you reach the bottom of the line you drew. Then stitch about 1/4 of an inch farther. Sew the other side in the same way, then part the fabric and draw an angled line from the bottom of the original line down to the last stitch on the plackets, creating a triangle shape in the middle. Cut along the main line, then cut the angled lines, being careful not to cut the placket pieces or your stitching. Fold the placket back in on itself along the folds you ironed into place, so the raw edges are inside the placket. Tuck the placket piece and the triangle flap under so it's between the placket piece on the inside and the inside of the front. Stitch down the side of the placket. Turn it and put a few stitches across the bottom to hold the placket and the triangle flap in place. Then fold the second half of the placket in the same way, leaving this one to the front of the opening. Pin the point at the bottom where it meets the main body of the front. Now we trim the front of the placket. It's designed longer than necessary, so you can trim it and fold it into whatever shape you like. I'm just making mine square. Holding the front open so you don't accidentally stitch it closed, sew down this side of the placket. Stop when you reach the point where the plackets overlap and make sure everything is lined up neatly. Then sew down over the decorative front part, stitching the edges down, and sewing across the point where the two placket pieces overlap at the bottom of the opening. Now the front opening is done. Trim all your threads for a neat finish. You might notice the finished placket is taller than the neckline. That will help align the collar later. Now we'll attach the front to the back. Putting the pieces right sides together, pin the shoulder seams and sew. Then switch to a zigzag or overcast stitch and sew the edges together to prevent it from fraying. Trim your threads, then unfold the shoulder seams and take it to the ironing board to press smooth. Next, fold one of your sleeves in half to find the center point of the curved top. Pin this point to the seam we just created on the shoulder, with the right sides of the fabric together. Line the curve of the sleeve up with the edge of the armhole, and either pin or baste it in place. Sometimes fabric stretches when you cut a curve, and you might end up with the sleeve being a little bigger than the armhole. That's fine and very common when working in doll scale. Don't worry if that happens. Just pin the sleeve so it lays nice and flat and the center is aligned on the shoulder seam. Then sew it in place, and just like the shoulder seams, zigzag or overcast the edges of the fabric. Open the sleeve out flat and iron the new seam. Then attach the other sleeve in the same way and iron it too. Before we add any more seams, we're going to finish the edge of the entire garment, except for the neck hole. Starting at any corner, zigzag or overcast the garment's sides, hems, and all the way around the sleeves. You should be able to do this all in one go. If your sleeves don't align with the body of your kurta, just move the fabric over and keep sewing. You don't need to stop and cut the thread or the extra fabric. Then fold the sleeve cuffs in about 1/4 of an inch, sew them both down, and iron the new hems. Now we'll sew the sleeves and side seams. Align the sleeve at the armhole seam and at the cuff, and let the sleeve edge line itself. This eliminates any problems caused by the curved top stretching and being too big for the armhole. Pin it in place, then pin about halfway down the side. I've chosen to make the side slit 4 inches from the bottom edge of the kurta, so I put 2 pins at the 4-inch mark to show me where to stop sewing. Pin the other side the same way, then start sewing at the end of the sleeve. Take a few stitches, then backstitch a few to create a nice tight cuff that won't come undone. Sew down the sleeve to the point where it meets the body of the kurta, then turn and sew down that edge until you reach the point where the side slit begins. Backstitch there too for extra strength. Sew both sides, then we'll make the collar. The collar is curved, so to know which side is up, think of it as a smile. Sew up one side, across the top, and then down the other side. Oops, I gotta skip stitch. That means it's time to change my needle. I restitch that side, then clip the corners and turn the collar right side out. Since the stall scale is so small and finicky, I turn it carefully and pin the edges in place to iron. But that's not all. I also turn the bottom edge to the inside by 1/4 inch and pin that down too to create an ironed-in guide just like we did with the plackets. Before we attach the collar, turn the whole thing right side out. Then open the collar and unfold one edge, pinning it along the neckline on the right side of the garment. It's easiest to pin the two corners on first, then work on the middle. This can be the trickiest part, so take your time. Once it's in place, sew along the line of the fold to attach the collar to the kurta. You might find it easier to sew the collar by hand. Then trim your threads and fold the collar up and over the placket tips and the raw edge of the neckline and sew it down. The ironed edge gives a crisp finish to the inside of the collar, which is really easy to sew shut by hand using a whip stitch, or you can pin it and sew along the edge by machine. Almost done. The last thing to do is add the hem to the bottom. Starting at the sides, fold the edge of the fabric back along the side slit. Put a pin at the point where the sides are stitched together so you can see it more easily. Sew up one side of the slit, turn and take a few stitches over where the sides join together, and then turn and stitch down the other side. Repeat this on the other side of the garment so that the side slits are both hemmed. Then turn up the front and back bottom hems, pin them in place, and sew them down. Pinning or basting is important for curved hems like this because it helps keep the fabric from shifting or stretching as you sew, which keeps the hem from becoming distorted. Clip the last of your threads, and then it's time for one last finishing touch. Add a closure to the front. Many real kurtas use buttons to close the front, but on this one I've used snaps. One on the placket and one on the collar, so you can use as many as you like. Now it's ready to wear. That's all for today. If you create something using this pattern or tutorial, don't forget to leave me a comment about it so I can see your work. And if you're looking for more sewing patterns like this one in the future, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any updates. Thank you for joining me. Bye!